Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. Here's a recap of our top stories from the week.
Entrapment. Upon arriving at the scene, crews say one patient was found unresponsive and heavily entrapped. Within 12 minutes, crews report that the patient had been extricated and handed over to EMS. The patient was transported to Lehigh Valley Hospital Hazleton with severe injuries. The cause of the crash is still under investigation. A man from DuPont has been charged with the sexual assault of a child. According to the Office of the Pennsylvania Attorney General, William Christian Jr. was arrested on Tuesday and charged with unlawful contact with a minor, indecent assault, disseminating explicit sexual material to a minor, and other offenses. In a press release, Attorney General Dave Sunday said Christian had served as a board member for the Lehigh and Keystone Valley Model Railroad Museum and had been using a common interest in trains to groom and prey on a child. Over the course of several months, investigators say Christian exchanged thousands of Facebook messages with the 15-year-old victim, many of which were lewd and sexual in nature. Officials say Christian also physically assaulted the victim on the way to and from model train events. Christian was arraigned on Tuesday, and his bail has been set at $125,000. His preliminary hearing is scheduled for May 13th. A man from New York has been sentenced to over 20 years in prison in connection with a Hazel Township murder. According to officials, Joseph Sarmiento has been charged with third-degree murder for the death of 41-year-old Helena Johnson in 2021. Investigators say Johnson was found dead on June 6th at the Red Carpet Inn in Hazel Township. A forensic pathologist determined that Johnson had been struck at least 10 times and possibly strangled. Sarmiento has been found guilty of third-degree murder, but also mentally ill. Officials say he has been sentenced to 20 to 40 years in prison in connection with the case, but that the mentally ill charge will allow him to receive mental health treatment during his sentence.
A man charged with murdering a Hazleton man in 2024 has been found guilty. On March 7, 2024, prosecutors say Shelton Miles robbed a Sunoco on North Main Avenue in Scranton and shot and killed Jose Miguel Tatis Camilo of Hazleton. During the incident, officials say Miles also shot the cashier in the thigh before filling his pockets with cash and fleeing the scene. In his trial, the defense pled not guilty by reason of insanity, arguing that Miles suffered from dementia and experienced periods of confusion and forgetfulness. However, Miles was ultimately found guilty on charges of first-degree murder, attempted murder, aggravated assault, and theft in connection with the incident.
The man accused of murdering 39-year-old Jessica Lockwood has been taken into custody by Pennsylvania State Police. According to the Hazleton City Police Department, 55-year-old Terrence Ray was taken into custody Thursday morning around 6 a.m. Officials say Ray was arrested without incident. Lockwood's body was found on fire along Club 40 Road in Hazleton on Sunday, April 27th. Ray was first identified as the suspect during a press conference at the Luzerne County Courthouse on Monday. Following an autopsy, the acting coroner determined that Lockwood's cause of death was blunt force trauma and a gunshot wound. Ray has been charged with criminal homicide, abuse of a corpse, and tampering with evidence in connection with the incident. The location of Ray's arrest has not been made public at this time. Stay tuned on WYLN News for updates on this developing story. The Hazleton Area High School Friends of Rachel Club will be hosting their second annual Suicide Awareness and Support event, Outrun the Darkness, on Saturday, May 10th from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Outrun the Darkness will take place at the Hazleton Area High School Track and Field and will feature several different walks and runs to participate in. The event will offer the 9.88K run in reference to the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline number, a 5K run, a 1-mile memory walk, and a kids' fun run. The event will also feature several other activities, including food trucks, tricky trays, guest speakers, and a kids' fun zone. The day will conclude with the Light the Night ceremony to remember loved ones lost to suicide and to show support for suicide loss survivors. We spoke with one of the organizers of Outrun the Darkness, Corinne Gerhardt, who is encouraging the Hazleton community to come out for this event.
We just want to encourage as many people as possible to come out, whether you are touched by suicide or mental health, because I think the more people we have out and we can engage them in those resources and the guest speakers and just what we have going on in the event itself, I think is just important, because you never know when you're going to come across somebody who might need them. So even if you're not experiencing it now, that doesn't mean you or someone you know might not experience it in the future. So I think it's just important to get as much presence as possible, because so many people struggle, and I think that when you just look around and you're kind of on the same playing field as everybody, and you know that you have the support from your community, it can do wonders when it comes to mental health and the suicide awareness that we're trying to bring to the community.
All proceeds from Outrun the Darkness will benefit the Friends of Rachel Club's mental health and suicide prevention efforts within the Hazleton School District. To sign up for any of the walks or runs at the event, you can visit runsignup.com/outrunthedarkness or scan the QR code on screen. The Hazleton High School track is located at 1400 West 23rd Street in Hazel Township. Coming up on WYLN News, we check in with State Representative Dane Watrow on Watrow's weekly update. Plus, Chris Fulmer takes us down the path through history with Danville, Part 4. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the WYLN Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by Lehigh Valley Health Network and Jefferson Health. Investing in your well-being and building healthier communities, because more expertise and convenient care mean better outcomes and a healthier you. Learn more at lvhn.org/Jefferson.
Hi, my name is Russell. I'm 4 years old. Tomorrow's weather will be bright and sunny out.
We want your child to be our WYLN Weather Kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on WYLN News and WYLN social media posts, just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the WYLN News Facebook page. Submit your Weather Kid video today. If you're looking for an affordable pre-owned car or truck, Cher's Auto Sales has a great lineup of clean, dependable, and quality vehicles. Stop in at 610 North Broad Street in West Hazleton, 570-454-7229. Cher's is proud to be celebrating 70 years in business. Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969.
This week on Let's Talk Chiropractic, Eric was in a car accident in New York, but he lives in Pennsylvania. Tune in to see how gentle chiropractic and how he will write reports for his attorney is going to give him the best care that he needs.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
WYLN programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page for all our programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online.
Hello, this is State Representative Dane Watrow of the 116th Legislative District with details about an upcoming event I'll be co-hosting with State Senator Dave Argel that may be of interest to you. If you have a hard-to-read vehicle license plate you think that needs to be replaced, you can come to the Hazleton State Police Barracks on Monday, May 19th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. A PA State Trooper will be there to inspect the license plate and determine if it is unreadable. If it is, the officer will sign the application form for a new plate at no cost to you. RSVPs are required for this event. To RSVP, please call my Hazleton office at 570-453-1344. We hope to see you there.
Welcome back to Feel Good Friday. I'm joined with Dr. John. Dr. John, how's it going?
Hey Ryan, again, thank you. I think this advice is great for people.
It definitely is, and you know, it's getting warmer out, so you know that means people are going to start going to concerts, and you know what's important? Hearing protection.
You know, and people forget in the long run. I want you to go at a I've been to a couple concerts in my life, and I want you to have a glass of beer, get into the music, have fun. But Ryan, I'm lucky. I'm here 45 years. The people who come to me will say, now John, I'm losing my hearing, or my ears are buzzing all the time because I've gone to 30 concerts and I never wore any kind of protection. You can still hear the concert music and yet have a little protection. We went, for example, to a Pocono race, my wife and I, years ago. We bought these $60, it was so loud at first, and so many people there had no ear protection. I never want to retire. I want to hear the birds chirping and the ocean hitting the reef when I'm 90 years old someday. So protect your ears. You know, you go to airports, you see all of those people with ear protection so the repetition of the sound doesn't affect them. So my advice is any concert you go to, wear some kind of ear protection. You can still hear the music. Don't damage your ears so your nerves won't be damaged as you get older someday.
Yep, very valuable advice with concert season coming up just around the corner.
You're right.
I'd like to thank Dr. John for joining me on this edition of Feel Good Friday, and we'll see you next time.
Lehigh Valley Health Network is now proudly part of Jefferson Health. And when two healthcare leaders come together for the community, you can expect more. More access, more doctors, more convenience. Jefferson Health and Lehigh Valley Health Network. Together for the future of care.
Cooking rice just isn't nice. Hi, Chef Daniel Green here with Rice Robot, the 1, 2, 3 rice cooker. Watch. 1, add the white cup for rice. 2, add the blue cup for water. 3, click it and let Rice Robot perfectly cook it. The secret is Perfect Cook technology that surrounds the rice with controlled heat for even cooking. Then Rice Robot senses when it's done, auto stops and keeps it warm to serve. It won't burn, overcook or undercook, guaranteed. And rice is just the beginning. Make mac and cheese, frittatas, oatmeals, soups and stews, even ramen dishes. And with a ceramic ultra non-stick interior, cleanup's a breeze.
Get the complete Rice Robot cooking system with the steamer tray and 1, 2, 3 recipe guide, all for just $39.99. It comes with a 90-day money-back guarantee. We'll even ship your entire order free. Order now.
1-800-640-8545. Hey, did you know WYLN posts news stories and other bonus content on social media all week long? The Weather Kids, fresh from the farm, Everyday Heroes, Let's Talk Sports, Feel Good Friday, daily news stories, and more. Visit WYLNTV.com, Facebook, and YouTube to check it out. WYLN, the local leader on social media. We're your local network. A Path Through History is sponsored by the Old Jail Museum, 128 West Broad Street in Jim Thorpe. Call 570-325-5259 or visit them online at theoldjailmuseum.com.
By the early 20th century, the iron mills that sustained Danville for so long were in decline. The rise of steel, which was stronger and more solid than iron in many ways, had spelled the beginning of the end of the iron industry. And yet, the iron industry would still contribute to Danville in another way. One of the major iron barons had been George Geisinger. After his death in 1883, his widow, the former Abigail Cornelissen, inherited a fortune. She gave this fortune freely to the town, including purchasing homes for elderly women to live in. At the time, the nearest hospital was in Bloomsburg, and Abigail would often drive those in need to it herself. Deciding Danville could use a hospital of its own, she informed town leaders of her decision to build a modern one in the community, dedicated to her husband's memory. Ground for the hospital was broken in 1912 in the William McGill property east of town, where the architects bent on adhering to Abigail's demand to make my hospital right, make it the best. By September 1915, the George F. Geisinger Memorial Hospital was ready to open, and Danville decorated for a big celebration. But the party was canceled when a typhoid epidemic struck the town at the last minute. 121 cases were recorded in the Danville area over the ensuing months, and many of the worst victims would be the new hospital's very first patients. Today, Abigail Geisinger's hospital has become a major regional healthcare provider, and the original Danville location still serves patients from all over the region with top-grade care. Abigail Geisinger died in 1921 and rests today in Danville's Oddfellow Cemetery, her legacy in the community more than secure. One notable stop in the trolley lines during their heyday was a dance hall east of Danville in the village of Grovania called Montour Park. In 1934, prominent Columbia County businessman Lester Herr purchased the dance hall and reworked it into the Peacock Gardens, a name made clear by the peacock motif on its walls and live peacocks in the garden out front. June 13, 1934 would be the opening night at Peacock Gardens, headlined by Buddy Harrelson's local radio band. Over the next decade, the venue would become a popular place for class reunions, weddings, banquets, and other formal affairs, as well as to ring in the New Year each December 31st. It would open regularly on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays for dining and dancing by the general public. Peacock Gardens closed in 1942, and only a small portion of the dance hall's foundation still stands today. One of Peacock Gardens' employees in 1937 was 16-year-old Bud Yeager, who lived on a farm in Grovania with his parents William and Gertrude and his 10 siblings. At 9:30 on the night of April 22nd, he walked home from work with his younger sisters Amy and Earla May, who had gone to the store for groceries and had stopped by Peacock Gardens on the way back to ask if he could help them carry the flour sacks. As the trio entered their house, they heard their mother screaming from the upstairs bedroom. Bud instinctively ran upstairs and was immediately smashed in the head with a lantern by his heavily drunken father upon entering the bedroom. He grappled with William and ultimately managed to push him down the stairs before tending to his mother, whose face was bleeding heavily. William promptly returned with the rifle, but Bud fortunately had one of his own and bashed his father in the head with its butt, knocking him out. With the threat thus momentarily neutralized, Bud got his mothers and sisters to safety in a hollow behind the house, then ran to the neighboring house of Joseph Crum and told him what had happened. Crum drove Bud to Danville to alert Montour County Sheriff Riley Lindner of the altercation. And Sheriff Lindner in turn notified State Police Barracks in Muncie. By 11 o'clock, Lindner and his deputy Joseph Ray, along with State Troopers John Fessler and Thomas Hooper, arrived at the farm to arrest William Yeager. When the lawmen entered the house, however, a revived Yeager, sitting at the kitchen table with his rifle in hand, opened fire on them, hitting Fessler in the chest. Fessler shot Yeager 3 times as he fell, incapacitating him enough for the suspect to be handcuffed and arrested by the other officers. Yeager and Fessler were taken by ambulance to Geisinger Hospital, but Officer Fessler succumbed to his gunshot wound early the next morning. His body would be taken back to his hometown of Cressona for burial with honors. Thus, William Yeager would be subsequently charged with first-degree murder, the first homicide case in Montour County in several decades. On the stand, Yeager insisted he was innocent, claiming Officer Fessler had been shot by accident by his partner Officer Hooper instead. The jury did not buy this argument and convicted him of murder on June 1, 1937. Yeager promptly fired all his defense attorneys and appealed for a new trial, but both the appeals court and the State Board of Pardons denied his motions. His execution was set for February 25, 1940. It would never be carried out, however, as William Yeager committed suicide in his cell with a .32 caliber revolver on the day before he was set to be transported to death row in Bellefonte. As his family had been carefully vetted each time they had visited him, authorities suspected one of the guards had given him the gun, although the guilty party was never found. William Yeager was laid to rest in Espy's New Rosemont Cemetery. Afterwards, some in the area came to wonder if his soul had perhaps placed a curse on those who tried him, as both his original defense attorney and the judge who had overseen his conviction died soon after Yeager's death. In later life, his son Bud Yeager would have a long career at Danville's TRW automotive plant and had 3 children with his wife of many years, the former Edna Lynn. He died in 1987 and rests today, along with many of his siblings, in Lime Ridge's Elam Memorial Park. In addition to the Victoria Theater, other movie houses would grace Danville over the years as well. The Luna Theater operated on Mill Street August 17, 1912, with a capacity of 552 patrons. It was purchased by the Comerford chain in 1924, and its name was changed to the Ritz Theater in 1931. It burned down in 1936. The newer Capitol Theater was built in the Ritz's former site and opened on July 8, 1936 with the Jane Withers film Little Miss Nobody. It had a larger capacity than the Ritz with just under 1,000 seats. The Capitol Theater closed in the mid-'80s, although the building still stands, with the screen and orchestra pit still intact inside. There have been calls in recent years to rework it as an arts center.
SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond Contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialist, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about checking out a restaurant with a unique flavor or a crazy food challenge? These are just some of the things we are featuring on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. So, spend some time learning about great wine, great beer, and great food on WYLN TV 35. Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve, 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969.
Something is out there. What it is, no one knows. However, since its first sighting, there have been numerous reports of strange lights in the night sky. Some say they are extraterrestrials, flying saucers. But to all of those seemingly unrelated uncertainties, there is one common thread.
Solo Spaceman. Watch Solo Spaceman on WYLN Thursdays at 1:30, Saturdays at 7, and Sundays at 4:30.